Good morning.
How are you this fine day?
I'm fantastic. It was a nice rainy night last night here in the desert, so that's always fun.
Excellent. So I've just got you tagged up there, so you should see that shortly.
Yes. Adding it now. Woohoo!
We're
Before
trying
we
a
get
new
into the work.
format, hoping it makes things a little bit easier for us when it comes time to do all the editing stuff and putting together shorts and whatnot. So
Yes. Like
hmm.
making our lives easy.
Anything that takes a little bit of time off the top is good, as long as it's not causing a suffering to the quality of things. So,
100%.
so today we decided we would talk about platforms because there are so many out there and each one serves its own purpose. I mean, some can be cross platform, but some are very dedicated to a particular type of content that you're going to be putting out there and who you're trying to reach. I actually put up a post the other day just in terms of what different people liked or what different people used for outreach, and it seemed that social media was obviously a big one. There was blogging for the more long form, but I was surprised that emails were not listed. People didn't really say emails, but I think that's because platforms and outreach sort of goes like this. It always
Yeah.
seems
And the
that
platform's
one
usually pulling them into the email.
it's email sort of a secondary thing. So I think when people are doing, especially with the organic reach, they're just thinking social media. And so that's where that goes. But even with social media, there's a bunch of them. So,
Yep.
what's your favorite?
My favorite's definitely video content. So, as far as platform, I would say Instagram, I think, is my favorite for video, just because their editor's a lot better than Facebook's or, in my opinion, TikTok. So I really like that, but we all consume things differently, which is why if you have a book available in download or audio, you're going to reach twice as many people. I think it's important that we remember that, and that's where like I've been trying to be better this year about like doing more stories on Instagram because last year it was carousels, this year it's stories, and stories don't always have to be video. So kind of focusing on that and how the trends change, but definitely video is my strong suit and Instagram for sure.
I started with Facebook. I've been on Facebook for like an eternity, and I used it a lot for. I remember when I first showed it to me, it was like back in 2007, I think. And I was like, what is this nonsense, right? Little did I know it would suck me in so bad. And I built for the publishing side of things, it's where I reached and met a lot of authors and artists and all sorts of things like that. And then, moving over to the marketing side, again, meeting a lot of people to collaborate with, to work with, to talk with. So it has, I find it's good for being able to put longer posts and shorter posts and do your videos. So it's a little bit more round, but like with TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or Threads now, um, you know, and even not as big of an extent, Pinterest, it scrolls through so fast, right? So you're constantly having to keep it updated and keep it. So if you don't want to be on all the time, that can be a little bit frustrating. I am looking at trying to build up my Instagram more this year because I mean, I am literally on what have I got? I've got TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Pinterest, Medium blog, and I have a website that I haven't done anything with yet. So,
You're doing better than me. I'm not on Twitter or Threads because I just don't get it.
well, I never used to get Twitter, but then I did spend some time with it, and I don't I don't do a lot on it, but I do like just being able to post some quick text. I'm obviously I'm kind of preferring Threads at this moment because Twitter's done its thing. But I mean, it's also a long standing, so I mean, it might have its rise, it might have its fall. So I can see all this stuff going on all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, each platform also lends itself to what your favorite form of communication is.
Yeah.
right? And also whatever it is that you're affiliating for. So say you're doing more products or, stuff like if you're more of a product based affiliation, Pinterest is huge, especially if you're in food or fashion,
Yeah.
right? Like, because
Or TikTok, with TikTok shops now too.
the TikTok shops, absolutely. But TikTok, I think, grew really, really big and really, really fast. And as with anything that does that, eventually it reaches a point where it gets a little bit of clapback. Everybody just all of a sudden, screw those guys or whatever. And plus, they're going through some changes themselves. They're trying to keep up with what's legal and making sure that they're compliant on a bunch of things and stuff like that. Because when you grow really fast, your compliance tends to chase you. So all of a sudden, oh, well, they're taking this and they're getting rid of that. Like I noticed 3 of my videos of us talking because apparently I had some background music going on from another platform have been muted. So,
Yeah, that happens to my Pinterest a lot.
whenever you're repurposing or cross posting, try to use
It's a
audio
risk.
from, you got to try and use audio from the site. And, sometimes you get lazy and you don't want to do that, right?
Yeah. Uh,
But
what I've done is I've stopped cross posting any of my. I focus because I was switching my focus more to YouTube anyway. So it's my YouTube stuff that's being repurposed everywhere, which is all of our original stuff, right? So there's no like I don't put music into my shorts or anything like that. Typically, sometimes I will for like the dogs account, but not necessarily like for the stuff we do. And so that's kind of mitigated a lot of that because then when it does post to Pinterest, it's still just original audio. But yeah, I noticed that last year, all of a sudden, I was getting notification after notification that Pinterest muted this, and it wasn't like a strike or anything. It was just like a hey, we don't have the rights, so we're just turning the music off.
right, yeah. And I mean, it'd be nice if they could just turn the music off, but they can't, which is why I make sure that we have captions on our shorts. You never know. Besides, I'm one of those people. My husband and I are very different. When he watches his videos, it's full volume. And when I watch them, it's no volume. So
God, our lives are so similar.
it's like, why is
uh,
it so
yeah.
loud?
Well, and a
But
lot of people are watching at work when they're not supposed to be or anything like that. So that's where, like, a lot of people that don't want to do the captions because they're like, well, they just can turn the volume up. And sometimes they're watching where they can't. So captions really are, they're at this point, they're a must,
well,
honestly.
yeah, and not everybody is hearing abled, right? So what's the big deal? You
Yeah.
put some captions in, you just make it easier for other people. I
Yeah.
mean, we're a big wide world and we aren't all this homogenous group.
Yeah.
Recognize that people have different things that they need. So,
I would
anyway,
say with captions or just text in general, if you're planning on repurposing that video for like an ad, maybe be a little more cognizant of where the caption's going or where your text is going. But yeah, other than that, caption the heck out of it. Definitely prefers you use their caption versus like CapCut captions.
oh, really?
Um, yeah, but I think they're the only one.
I didn't realize that.
Well, they just did an update and there's a lot more options now for captions. So it's one of those things of,
Oh, okay.
the more you push the new or the more you use the new stuff, the more Instagram pushes you out kind of thing.
Trying to see who's watching. But at any rate, hi people who are. I don't know who you are, but please drop a comment, say hello.
But
Now,
you as a
speaking
publisher
of the,
author, you're more written content, right? That's kind of your forte.
I like to do the written content. I'm trying to do the more of the video because I know that it does reach people. But yeah, no, I prefer to do the written. I like doing blogs. I haven't done some in a little while. But the nice thing about a blog is it's evergreen. I still get comments or feedback, even if it's just in the form of I've read this and I like it, on stuff that I've posted months ago. Whereas nothing that I post on Facebook or Twitter or any of the social medias where it's constant turnover, no one sees that. It's gone, right? And it's long gone. And if it does show up as somebody liking it, it's either because for whatever reason Facebook put it up on the feed as some random post, or someone's creeping my profile and going way, way, way back. I'm liking old pictures or something, and then all of a sudden it pops up, which does happen. generally speaking, yeah, no. Once it's past a couple of days, and it definitely once it's past like a week and a half, it's gone. And that's on Facebook, on like a Threads, even in Instagram and TikTok. Unless you pin it, it's gone. It's gone in like hours sometimes. So
Yeah.
you gotta.
Instagram did an update so reels are lasting longer. I think it's like 5 or 6 days that the reel will stay active in the feed. But yeah, every now and then I'll see on Facebook people going, sorry, I'm liking people's photos that's 2 days old. That's just what Facebook finally decided to show me. Some of it's algorithm when it comes to
Yep.
Facebook. Sometimes it just shows the older stuff. No one
Yep.
really
And
seems to
which,
know why.
thank you. Right. I appreciate that you putting that information out there and letting some new people see it. But that's why I like the blogs, is because yeah, it's a little bit, and YouTube in terms of the videos, when you're doing the long form videos, has the same capacity for long
Yeah.
form, where you can do something that's longer and it be evergreen. People can go back and check it and see it. The shorts obviously not, but they're sort of trying to balance both sides of those. I think Facebook did try that with their notes, but you can't. I mean, it's so hard to even access the notes.
I loved Facebook Notes when they first had them. I'm talking like a decade ago because
Yeah.
that's how I blogged my backpacking and my year living in New Zealand. And I didn't get it or didn't pay attention to the notification that they were getting rid of notes because like I went to find them one day and they were just all gone. So I've still got all my video photo albums, but I wasn't taking a lot of photos because by myself and I was trying not to look like a distracted tourist.
Yeah.
So I lost all the blogging that I'd done my
Talk to me
backpack.
afterwards. I think I can help you find it.
Oh, nice. Because that would be awesome to transfer to an actual blog site. But at that time, I wasn't into blogging. I didn't understand social media at all. And the nice about blogs, though, if your blog post is about something you've done a YouTube video on, you can just drop the YouTube video in the beginning. And then if someone doesn't actually want to read the blog, they can just click on the video and go watch the video. So there's a lot of
Exactly.
integration with blogs. That's fantastic.
Yep. And you can also, like, say you use Medium to blog, right? Yes. Um, where you don't actually have to have your own platform or anything else like that. You can just blog on Medium. You have a built-in audience and all sorts of things. You can, as you get more established, if you end up with a website, you can put those blogs on your website as well. And now they're in two places, and it doesn't matter, right? Now you've got two different places where your evergreen content is. Um, and one of the key things that I think that a lot of people overlook as they lean to more one, or one or the other, is that you do need to have both. You've got to have something that holds your evergreen content, and then your social media, because your social media is where you're gathering your audience, and you can use your social media to direct people to your evergreen stuff. But if you don't have something that's evergreen, you're constantly going to be chasing the wheel. Right? You're
Yeah. Well,
constantly
and
thinking
it's
about it.
so easy to lose your social media, right? So I know numerous people who their account got hacked and then the pictures changed, the names changed, and it's just gone. They've lost everything. Or they've gotten hacked, they reported it to Facebook and Facebook shut it down. Or TikTok's decided that, you're violating community standards and shuts you down. There's so many people we hear about who lose accounts that have 100,000, 200,000 followers and they don't necessarily know why.
Yeah,
So,
that happens a lot actually on TikTok. That's a big one that goes on TikTok. And Facebook is getting really uppity that way as well.
yeah,
I mean, I don't want to say that, but because I don't want to get banned, but it is a thing. Where, and
they're,
like
they're
on
responding
our
to.
affiliate.
Go
No,
ahead.
you go
You're good.
ahead. I was
I
gonna
was just gonna
say,
say that. Go.
you can tell this isn't scripted, folks. So I was just gonna say that, like in our affiliate accelerator coaching call yesterday, our mentor Brian was talking about like a very established affiliate marketer, somebody who makes tens of thousands of dollars a month, just had his account hacked and it was shut down. And if that was his only profile, he'd be screwed. right?
Yeah.
Luckily, he has Evergreen content and he has an email set up and he has multiple platforms so that it's not just one place pulling all your income, that you're pulling all your leads and everything from. I mean, that's a good reason to have a multiple platforms, even if it's on social media, to have at least two established ones, but also a good reason to have some long form, more evergreen places where you can put content. Because, yeah, if you get shut down, what are you going to do? Is if you build up only one, because I know that they do a lot of programs will teach you focus on one,
Yep.
and that's great until you get thrown in jail for 30 days and then all of a sudden you can't do anything or you lose your account completely. Like you built it up, you've put all the effort in, you finally get your opportunity to add links or go live or do whatever, their basic quotient is that you have to get to. You do it once and all of a sudden, boom, all that hard work is gone.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yep.
that's really heartbreaking for people. That can dash somebody's plans and their goals like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know what marketer that was. And thankfully, he's got a really big email list. He's got a vast following on Instagram and on YouTube. He's well established. Like he's been in it for years. So thankfully, he's able to fall back and he's not losing a lot of money. But I think a lot of that is just Facebook's response to the bad marketing tactics that we've seen over the last couple of years.
Oh yeah.
Because people are tired of it. Like, people are tired of getting spammed links and they're tired of strangers reaching out and trying to sell them crypto. And so, as a platform, if you've got a lot of people complaining about, tactics or certain things, you're going to make moves to stop it from happening. Instagram just did it as well with, I don't know if you remember about 6 months ago, people were talking about how I increased my views, and it was like they had all the keywords and they were putting them off to the side.
Yep.
Instagram caught on and they're like, cool, that's keyword stuffing, and we're not going to push your stuff. So don't do that if you're
Yeah.
doing it.
I mean, they teach that on TikTok as well, and I don't know if it
Yeah.
works or not. But that was the same thing with way back with websites. You used to do that. You used to make it the same, your text the same color as your background, and just have a layer of nothing but your keywords, right? And that was what you did in order to, get some ranking going on. Nobody knew, nobody saw, but yeah, the machine saw. But
Yeah.
the other problem is that a lot of times you have no recourse if something happens. Like I am banned from advertising. My advertising restrictions have on Facebook were immediate. And it wasn't anything that I did. They were like, you can't verify your identity. And the problem was that I had just moved down to the States, right? And I had just gotten my social security number. So it hadn't run through the tax system yet. So they just wouldn't verify that that was me. They couldn't verify because my social security number, even though valid, was a problem. And I knew I was having problems because I had to work with Stripe to make it fixed. I had to work with PayPal to get it fixed. And I had to work with some other payment platform to get it fixed. I knew that, yeah, that's an issue, but I had no one to talk to and no one that I could. And I asked them to review it and I gave them my driver's license at that point. And again, no, and they just shut it down completely. I have zero recourse.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that a human being ever looked at it, right?
Yeah.
No human being ever looked at it. So I'm screwed. At least with Stripe and PayPal, I had an actual physical human being look at it. So they were like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, we see what the issue is. No problem. We'll get you sorted out. But with Facebook, like with these big platforms, a lot of times there is no human dealing with it. It's all bots. So it's all algorithms and bots and all that sort of stuff. Like, you can't be a bot, but they can.
Yeah. Well, and that's why like Amazon's the same way. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, Amazon affiliate's a great way to start." It is until like they screw up or, they go to the wrong website, which is what happened with me, or, they just decide that you're violating some other thing and they'll shut you down and they'll give you the opportunity to review. And if you click review, they'll literally send you an email that basically says, "Yeah, we don't actually review these. You're just done." Oh, okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. And the reviews. So I'm seeing a lot on YouTube, a lot of Etsy accounts. Same deal, getting shut down. People who have built full standings and all of a sudden they have nothing. So, like, if you're a product person, if you're affiliating products or you're building out your own products that, and building up your business that way, you're going to want to have something other than a platform that's not yours,
Yeah.
right? So in those cases, you're going to want to have, like, especially if you're an Etsy seller, if you're doing POD and you're, making some money that way, you're going to want to have a secondary space to host that stuff. And,
Yeah.
that's a process. It takes some time, but no matter what you're selling, you're going to want to have multiple platforms, more than one, more than two. And you're going to have to, yeah, and you're going to want Evergreen and Chase the Wheel.
Yeah, it's the same reason we talk about multiple income streams all the time, right? Because if you're making money through email and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and Medium, if, like, say this was a year and a half ago when Instagram Reels bonus was a thing, right? So if that Instagram Reels bonus goes down, which it did, it's no longer a theme. For some creators, they were losing thousands a month. I think we only lost $150 a month, which is about what I was averaging from the Reels bonus. But if that goes down, if a platform changes what they're doing, you need to have other income streams in place to where it's okay. And then you can refocus that particular area versus, holy crap, it's like getting fired from your job and not having a backup plan. You're like, oh my God, suddenly I have no income, right? It's the same thing. But the benefit of online income streams is that you can build it out while you still have a job. And then if you get fired, you're like, it's fine. Like, I've got all this other income coming in. Now this is just my full time income. It's the
Yeah,
same kind of principle.
absolutely. And I know that it's okay to get comfortable with a single profile or a single platform, but yeah, you want to and figure out which ones work best for you. There are so many different kinds. So if you're more product based, you're going to have to look and see, is Pinterest better or is TikTok better for the quick platforms? Because that's a lot of those. There's not a lot of long form platforms, not a lot of evergreen ones. So you're going to be more limited. Do you like video or do you prefer to write? And that's really going to sort of get you. Or if you do like to talk, because you can do a podcast, straight audio. Those are options that you have for your more long form. Now, obviously, if you're going to do products, and video is probably going to be more likely if you're going to be showing off. But you can also, like, with a blog, you can put your video in your blog, like you were saying, which makes it easy enough so that people who are more visual can just skip the words and go straight to the video part of it.
Yeah.
For people who would rather just read and don't want to listen to somebody talk, like, lots of people love audiobooks. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't want someone reading to me because it just irritates me because my own imagination. Thank you very much. Right.
Yeah.
That is
Or
not
just
what she sounded
like
like to me.
voicing, right? Like some of the people that my significant other will listen to on YouTube, I'm just like, oh my God, their voice is nails on a chalkboard. Make it stop. Like, just And I don't think my voice is great. Some people do, some people don't. And so you never really know. And that's all these things you have to take into account. And you also have to take into account, are you gonna be able to handle the negative comments on your video or about your voice? Are you gonna be able to handle that or not? Because if you don't think you can, I mean, I would still say try,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where faceless written content really comes in handy.
Absolutely. Because if you're doing the writing, if you're doing the blogging, I mean, there's obviously you don't have to do it right from scratch because there are, like we talked about in the previous episode, there's tools to help you with that process. Now, not to write it for you, but to help you with it. I don't know how many times I want to say that, but all the time.
But it's so
uh,
easy.
Well, it is easy. And you know what? It feels good because you get something done, but then you have to go back and realize that it requires a more human touch, and that's okay. You know, put some
Yeah,
of you in there. But it's a perfect for somebody who's introverted, right? A
yeah,
blogging is perfect for introverted people. And that's the same with, the more text-based platforms, for the quick platforms like Threads or Twitter or even Facebook, where you don't necessarily have to have a constant, video presence. I mean, you can build it all straight out, text and image, text and image, text and image. You don't have to go the video route. The video route is just easier because it's like talking to people, right?
yeah,
But it's not always easier because people, that first reel, posting their picture for the first time, that's a massive step for a lot of people, right? So, don't.
I always laugh about how PBAA has evolved because a lot of the entrepreneurs that are in the group, not all of them, but a lot of them are female. It's women. And that's great. Like, I support my women. I love that more women are taking that step. But I think it was eye opening for the creators, for Brian and Ryan, because they learned very quickly that what works for them doesn't necessarily work for the female dynamic because we had marketers who were getting nothing but marriage proposals or, oh, well, how would you like a $2,000 allowance a week? Nothing sexual, just be at my beck and call whenever I need you on social media. And like, weird stuff like that they never experienced because that's not something that men typically experience. Not saying that they don't, not saying that there aren't catfishy women out there, but I would just say in this space, it happens more to women than men from my personal experience. They kind of had to stop and go, well, maybe the DM game isn't great for everybody because maybe we are help, these women are putting themselves in a bad spot to like open the door to this kind of thing. So maybe we need to reevaluate how we teach affiliate marketing and expand. And they have, and they've done a great job. But just hearing them talk about it, I think it was very eye opening for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember when I very first got into this, and I was with a different program, and they were like, get yourself out there. And again, a billion friends and stuff like that. And I remember talking to my business coach briefly, and I'm like, so I'm getting like anywhere from 60 to 100 friend requests a day, and they're all men. They're all men. And that is not what I want to balance. I'm here for everybody, and I don't want to be inundated by like all of this. Like, I don't want to say, no, you can't be my friend because of your gender, because that's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's a little overwhelming. And yeah, again, the whole marriage proposals and other various things and unsolicited D pics and shit like that. And
Or video. That's a fun one.
yeah, at a certain point, especially before, a long time ago, I'm going to say, probably when I was in my like early 40s, I was getting so many that I started keeping them and then just sending somebody else's random DP back to somebody else. So like I was just like saying,
Yes.
yeah, here, you send me one, here, I've got another one. This one's this size. It's like, here, share amongst yourselves. Maybe you know this guy. I don't know. You all seem to have the same. Are you all part of a group or something? But um, and he had no idea what to do with it. He's like, "Oh, I've
Yeah.
never heard of that problem." I'm like, "How could you have not heard of that problem?"
Yeah.
Like, I can't be the only woman that gets inundated the second they go online. I know that that's not true because I'm not like a runway model or something. I'm just me. Like, I'm just a plain old woman. Like, give me a break here. So, yeah, it's can be overwhelming. So not having to be in the DMs and not having to be on video and having your physique critiqued, your voice critiqued, then on top have whatever you're putting out there being critiqued. And when I say critiqued, I mean trolled,
Yeah.
right? Because let's
Yeah.
be fair, right? It's going to
Yeah.
be there's a lot of trolls out there. It's not to say that you're safe on other platforms. It's just that video seems to make it easier for them. to want to come at you that way.
Yeah.
So
Well, the internet in general makes it easier. Like we've one of my realtor friends have talked about doing a series of videos of like how troll comments would come across in real life, and like putting them into real life situations so that people can see how ridiculous they are. Because people say things online they would never say to somebody's face because they're hiding behind a keyboard, and a lot of times when they're doing it, there's no face on the profile. There's no actual content in their on their profile, and I those things I'm like, oh, your parents never let you voice your opinion, did they? Like, you clearly have some stuff going on. Like, bless your heart. But, it's just something that you're going to have to deal with. Even Brian said his first TikTok live got ruined because he got inundated with troll comments and it threw him off his game.
yeah, and
So
so
it
whether you're
happens.
seasoned or not, you're going to hit that. The Gen X in me, every time I see keyboard warriors, my brain is like, you did not have enough of fuck around and find out in your life, because you don't do that in real life, because someone would slap the words right out of your face. That's why I'm smirking away. I'm like, yeah, because I mean, if any of these people actually went up and had to deal with this in real life,
Yeah.
I think, especially to some of the people that they say it to, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like seriously. I don't have the patience for trolls. You know what? You do you. I always laugh at the ones that pick on people who are obviously English second language and pick on them about their
Yeah.
writing skills. And it's like, they know two languages. How many do you know? Like,
Yeah.
they know at least two.
Yeah.
You can speak one, maybe. Like, but you're going to find that on, like I say, trolls are on all platforms just because of the nature of the internet. And you have to try not to let them bother you. But as we were saying, priorities. Figure out what it is that you are selling. What are you affiliating for? Whether it's software, or it's a program, or it's physical products. And then that's going to help determine which platform styles for the quick turnover ones work best for you. And there'll always be more than one, right? So like, even if you are, you know, I see people on Twitter who do well, and they do a lot of promotion through there. And then they also have like a Facebook and maybe a Threads. So that's their quick ones, right? But then the
Yeah.
people who are on Pinterest, the cooking, they will have a Pinterest, and they will have Instagram, and then they will also have a YouTube or a TikTok, because something that's going to allow them to showcase their product as well as what they're doing. I find that software as a service tends to lean more to blogs,
Yeah.
just because it's easier for them to explain what they're doing. But then they'll also have, for their quick platforms, they'll do something that allows them to mix both text and visual. So it just depends on what you need, but like in terms of what your program or what you're affiliating for, what platforms you're going to use. But make sure that you diversify. Make sure you have more than one, because you can't get stuck on just one. And yeah, make sure that you have both the evergreen and the quick burn ones.
Yeah. And
It,
stop being afraid to show your personality.
I think when we all first get into it, we want to come across as professional, that
Yeah.
we know what we're talking about, and that people won't listen to us unless we're professional. Um, and I think that that's just it's just an innate thing. We want people to listen to us. And why would they listen to us? Because, if we're not serious, if we don't look like we know what we're talking about, why would they listen to us? And it's like, we tend to lose some of our personality in the beginning. But really, people do want to know you. Your friends got to know you because you clicked with them. And think about that in terms of your customers and your clients as well. You want people who are going to resonate with who you are, because you don't want to do business with people you don't like. You don't want to do business with people who do not fit within what you value and what's important to you. right?
Yeah.
Because not everybody has the same value systems, not everybody has the same interests. And so if you're trying to be professional, but then, you're like me and you swear, right? I swear it's what I do.
Same.
I'm not going to pretend that I don't. And so if that's really going to offend you, then I'm constantly have to being worried about when something slips, and I'm constantly going to have to be on pins and needles. I'm not interested in being on eggshells
Yeah.
all the time with my clients, and you shouldn't have to be either. If you are forthright with who you are from the beginning, or as quickly as you can, once you get over that first initial, I need to be this way. Um, Once you get over that, the sooner you are forthright with who you are and authentic to who you are and how you communicate and what's important to you and your core values and those kinds of things, the easier it is going to be to reach your ideal people. Because I can't see how, if you're a country boy and that's really important to you, and that country lifestyle is really important to you, I don't see how your ideal client would be some, Manhattan investment banker or Hollywood actor. I don't see how those people would fit into what you want. And how would
Yeah.
you speak to them? How would you feel comfortable talking to them? You wouldn't, I don't think.
Yeah. If she is wrong, prove us wrong.
Yeah,
Drop in the comments.
that's right. Jump in the comments.
Marcus,
Tell
thank
me
you
I'm
so
wrong.
much
It's
for
okay.
liking
I'm
the
not
video.
afraid. So, any rate, that was it. So yes, that's all we have to
That's all,
say today.
folks.
That's it. It's been a long week for both Rose and I. So
It has.
if we seem a little subdued today, it's just because we're a little tired. But
I
so
can finally do this without cringing, though, so my nose is healing.
oh, that's like the second time your beautiful face has taken a good solid whomp in the last few months.
I know.
I'm
I
gonna
have a
say to you,
problem.
like I said to my older son, I love your face. Stop hurting it.
I'll try.
All right.
Enjoy
So
your
find your
Friday,
platforms.
guys.
Have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.